Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. So last week we talked about the power is to empower others. And so it's great to think about the empowerment of others and how we really can work through people. So I'm going to take a little bit more time this week to drill down a little bit further. We talked about the 3 T's. We talked about having trust, building talent, and the third one was to teach. So when you think about that, I want to take this down to the level of really how do we go about doing that. But first I want to start with the who. And I think when we think about empowering others, obviously we think about our workplace, but I want you to think a little bit broader in terms of the audiences that you touch every day in terms of who you can empower. So first, obviously we should empower the ones closest to us. We should really think about every day our closest friends, our family, our spouse, our children, our partner. We really need to think about how are we empowering them every day. Second, let's think about the empowerment in the workplace of people we work with, people we manage, people who are peers to us, and empowering them. And third, let's even go beyond that to the other circles of people that we have touch with every day. It could be customers, it could be patients, it could be just people that you interact with every day. Maybe it's those individuals in the nonprofit organization that you're volunteering for. So we have the opportunity to empower lots of people every day. But I want you to really think about what is that mindset that you need to be in so that you can really empower individuals. So first, let's think about what's important. Number one, if empowerment's a challenge, we have to remember it's not about you. Empowerment is not about us. We have to put our ego aside and think about how do we let others be successful? How can we help others learn and grow? I was with somebody the other day and she was learning in a new job. And so she goes, I'm sorry. She was apologizing profusely saying, I'm new at this. It's my first day. And we were just encouraging her that she was doing a great job, giving her the faith and confidence. Now, didn't know her, didn't know who she was, but just to make her feel that she was empowered to make the right decisions in that transaction with us. Second is really thinking about the individual and who they are. We need to inspire people. So think about the inspiration and the energy that we're willing to give them so that they can give their energy back to others. All right? So that inspiration and that energy is really important when we think about giving and empowering to others. And we really have to work to be positive with them and really think about how do we inspire them. And that really goes along to the next one, which is really that T, the talent piece that we were talking about earlier in the last presentation, was really about thinking about their talent and knowing who they are and how to get the best out of them. And that's really what we have to think about is who are they, what are their strengths, what do they do well, and how can we really work with that? How can we empower them by utilizing those strengths more? I think sometimes we have a tendency to want to think that we're empowering them by helping them know what they're not good at or helping them to prove maybe in things that they're not doing so well. Well, there's that balancing act of that. I think we have to think about what's natural and what are their strengths and how can we empower them to use those. Now you might say, but gosh, Lori, I'm working with somebody, they really don't have a lot that I see. Well, you have to find the bit that you can see, okay? Find the bit that you can see and pull that out and make that bigger and focus on empowering them with what you see their potential to be. Because people do have potential, especially when we're working with young individuals. We really want to think about what is their potential and how can we pull that potential out of them and make that even bigger and expand. The next one is really about appreciation. How can we tell them thank you more often? How can we tell them you're doing a great job? How can we give them, just give them kudos on the things that they're doing well? Now I know some managers will come back to me and say, but gosh, I don't want to, reinforce their bad behavior if they're really not doing well. Well, that's where you have to stop and separate. And really, that kind of crosses the management line, right, in terms of are they the right fit for the job, going back to what do they do well. And we really have to think about the things that we can encourage them to be. If you've given them feedback, we encourage them and say, hey, great job, you did a good job. The other day I spent some time giving feedback to people and we had some challenges. And, I noticed, though, behavior had changed. So taking the time to go to them and tell them, behavior has changed. You guys have done a great job. And continually encouraging them to be better. I was empowering them to then take it from there to decide what they wanted to do with it and how they could be even better. So I really want you to think about those types of things when you think about the empowerment of others. Now let's think about maybe you're struggling a little bit with empowerment and why. Well, let's go back to that ego piece. Number one, it's not about you. Sometimes we have a problem maybe empowering others because you want the credit for it. Remember, more is going to come to you when you give and receive, right? When we give, the receiving just comes back in other ways. It's never a straight line. So put yourself aside and really focus on that other individual. The other thing is thinking back to the person and who you think they should be and not who they're not. I think the empowerment of others comes, again, in knowing who they are and how you can make them more successful. So when you go back to our 3 T's, thinking about trust and talent and teaching, all of those have a role to play. But I really want you to see a little bit of just drilling deeper into really how that would execute, and maybe you thinking about what that means for you. So for positive charge this week, first, let's think about your empowering. Who are you empowering every day? And 2, how are you doing it? There's many different ways, as we discussed. How are you empowering others? And 3, what gets in your way of empowerment? So it's really important for us to empower others, giving them the empowerment to be who they are and to expand and grow. Our inspiration to them and our positive feedback will help them grow every day. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.